All right, Roderick Hodges, presentation 2. My wife's going to be doing the recording. 1, I have other guests. 2, 3,
Rough Riders.
4, 5 for the audience. Drunk driving is a major risk to yourself. A lot of people, passengers in cars, any other people, occupants that be sharing the road with you. Innocent bystanders also suffer from drunk driving. Do not judge me. Please don't judge me. I am a victim of drunk driving and a single man accident. That's why I'm in my chair. I will be honest with you. What I say concerning drunk driving is actually from the heart. Do I take it to heart? Yeah, I do, but I still suffer from some other things. Unfortunately, the first time whenever I was drinking and driving, I did it for a long time, and I got better. And once I got better, I went and got some help through the ASAP program within the service. Unfortunately, the second time that I got called, as I said before, it placed me in my wheelchair. I'm not proud of the experience with drinking and driving, but I utilize my errors in life to inform those, as I'm doing within this speech now. Within dealing with alcoholism, I've participated in several different classes, from anything like Prime for Life. I had a 1 weekend lockdown. Yeah, that was horrible. 1 weekend lockdown. They took my keys. They took my medicine from me. I had to go to bed at 9 o'clock, and I'm 31 years old. So that was something that I honestly learned from. I admit that I still do consume alcoholic beverages. Not as much as I did prior, but I slowed down a lot, and I'm proud of myself for that. The purpose of this briefing, this speech, is to inform you about drinking and driving, the risks and the hazards of drinking and driving, and some of the consequences that you can go through. Like I said, please don't judge me. Everybody has their issues, but I deal with mine. I think I deal with it pretty good. Driving while either intoxicated, drunk driving is very dangerous. If you have a BAC of anything over .08, you greatly increase your chances of being a statistic. And the statistics for drinking and driving, they vary from anybody having a blood alcohol content of 0.9 to anything as high as a 0.248, etc. Anything above a 0.8 is definitely a DUI, and depending on what you're doing and what you tear up, whatever your crime is, it can go to a DWI. We'll get into those later on. Within the United States, they do enforce 21 years of age to drink and 0.8. I will tell you, in some states, you're actually allowed to give your kids alcoholic beverages around the age of 16 to 18, but they cannot leave the premises, and it has to be supervised. Drinking, under the age of 21, like I said, it is illegal, but people from 12 to 20 drink 11% of alcohol consumed in the United States. Out of 50 states, I'll say 12 to 20, the ages between 12 to 20, 11%, that's quite a high number, considering that the United States actual age is 21 years of age. So for all those great parents out there, or irresponsible parents feeding your kids alcohol at the age of 13 or whatever, you might need to do a little self-evaluation. Each year, approximately 5,000 young people under the age of 21 end up in a drinking and driving incident. Excuse me, my throat's kind of itching. Drinking and driving does not go together at all. The human brain, the more alcohol that you drink, that's when the human brain starts to shut down. You can't process the information correctly, and at a certain time that it needs to be in order for you to react according to your level of alcohol consumption. alcohol affects the attentiveness and the reflectiveness of the human body. This overall affects the reaction of whenever you're on the road or possibly whenever you get in a fight. So let's just say, perfect example, you got a nest full of bugs just swarming around you. If you're sober, you probably can catch a couple of those bugs without a problem. But the higher your BAC goes up, the more problem you're going to have trying to catch those bugs. So you're just going to be nagged by a bunch of bugs. So you might want, if you're outside, either use some off or watch what you're drinking or how much you drink. The central idea is to educate educate everybody the importance of drinking and driving. It's a huge hazard, and you really shouldn't do it. An estimate of 32% of fatal car crashes involve an intoxicated driver or a pedestrian. Everybody's affected by just not my choices, but also by somebody else's choices to drink and drive. This is all based off of the level of intoxication. As you keep hearing me say, 0.8. The higher you go, the lower and slower your brain starts to react. As a person reaches 0.02, they begin to experience some loss of judgment, relaxation, and altered mood. As to hint, people get into fights whenever they drink. It's probably not because their brain's not functioning right due to the alcohol, which in results decline in the visual functions. When you start swerving, you can't see too good. Some people might not be able to see regardless because they're just blind. But at the end of the day, if you need to wear glasses and you drink, you might want to do a little self-evaluation. Please excuse the kids in the background. That's probably one of those normal interferences that I have with this online class. Definitely going to put that on my self-critique. As a person reaches 0.05 on the psychomotor performance, their physics psychomotor performance is actually impaired. Slower eye movements occur. Visual processing is definitely hindered by that. Also, you reduce the ability to track and move objects. So whenever you stand up, the higher your BAC goes, and you start staggering, you're pretty much starting to be considered drunk. As a person reaches 0.08, their muscle tendencies start to shut down. Your body gets a little bit more relaxed. Your coordination is all thrown off. Your balance of speech, you start to slur. Your reaction time sucks, as I said before. Also, you may end up having selective hearing. Some stuff you might want to hear, and you might not end up paying attention to what you really need to hear. Short-term memory loss is definitely gone. Loss of speed control is gone. And the reduced to understand information to actually process it is definitely out the window. That's when you start getting signal detection and visual searches just tremendously slow down. In most states, you can be convicted if your blood alcohol content is over 0.08% or greater, or if you failed a sobriety test. If you don't want to do the sobriety test, you automatically fail. Some people just go say, you know what, I'm drunk, I'm not going to take this. Let's go ahead and get this over with. The level of legal ramifications, they vary, like I said, between DUI and DWI, are solely based upon the level of BAC that you have. The first time a DUI, DWI conviction typically results in severe penalties. I'll tell you, my first DUI, I had to do a class, and then I also lost my license for a year, and I had to pay, I think, like maybe $500 in fines, to include bailing myself, which is like $500 in one night. Using my own knowledge and experience that I had to pay and go through a lot of this stuff, I did learn from it. Unfortunately, I still consume alcohol, but I'm working on it. The DUI, DWI penalties are extremely serious and can range from temporary impounding of your vehicle, which is definitely going to cost you some money, a fine of up to several $1,000s. My first lawyer, cost me $1,000. I think this last lawyer cost me another $1,000, so that's $2,000 right there. You can get you some probation depending on how many times you do it. You're definitely going to do at least 5 to 6 hours in jail because they're going to blow you once you get down to the station, and then they're also just going to let you sit there until you sober up and you can bail yourself out. Definitely revocation of your driver's license. Mine was revoked for an entire year. I didn't have to do any community service, but I did have to complete a lot of substance abuse classes, and it was at my own expense for one of them. The other two, luckily, I was in the service, so I was able to utilize their programs. The legal ramifications they vary from DWI, again, with the level of alcohol, and if you're a substantially repeat offender, then obviously your legal ramifications are going to increase. Alcohol impairment increases the chance that all road user groups, including riders, pedestrians, and anybody that's out there, can be in a valid crash. Any legal cases or accidents can be avoided if you do not drink and drive. There are several ways that you can protect yourself against a DWI, like volunteering to be the designated driver. If you're going to be the designated driver, that doesn't mean that you're going to be the drunk driver. DD does not stand for drunk driver. If you must drink, then allow your time enough time to, so your BAC can go down. And if you got to drink, if you got to drive, then just stay completely sober. Never condone or approve of an excessive alcohol, like alcohol games, because intoxicated behavior is potentially dangerous, if never, and it's never amusing. Don't ever let your friends drive drunk. It's not good. The biggest problem with that, if you're up for the fight, then 9 times out of 10 is worth it. But you're going to have to definitely check your technical fortitude because, as I said before, your attitude is going to change. So you might end up your friend might end up being a little bit angry, and you guys may end up coming to blows. But hey, if you love them that much, you'll take care of them. You can also take a cab and other things. In many cases, drinking and driving, it only requires a little intervention. And that little intervention could change somebody's life tremendously. If you say, hey, guy, you need to stop. I think you're doing this. This is happening. Your family's starting to be bothered. Your friends are starting to be bothered. That little intervention could definitely help them. And it could definitely save their life. In conclusion, when it comes to your life and other people's life, think twice before drinking and driving and getting behind the wheel whenever you're consuming alcoholic beverages. I would like to thank you for participating in my Columbia speech, and this concludes my speech.
Hey, good job.
Good information.
Good job.